everybody. Thank you for tuning into my podcast, Keeping It Real with Caramel. As we say 100, I have Kevin on the line, and I'm talking about the famous Kevin. How are you?
Hello there, Caramel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, most definitely. I was super excited to have you. I was like, I cannot wait. I was like, I couldn't even sleep during the weekend because I was like, I can't wait to interview him. This is going to be so awesome.
Wow. Well, that's a great compliment. But you know, I can help you to go to sleep because I am a hypnotist.
Well, I know. I know. So I tell the listeners exactly like a little bit about you.
Well, okay. I'm known as the Hollywood Hypnotist Kevin Stone. I have a private practice here in Beverly Hills where I have two companies. One is called Deep Sleep Entertainment and the other one is called Mind Growth Technologies. And obviously the Deep Sleep Entertainment is I do comedy, stage, hypnosis shows all over the world for colleges, fairs, festivals. And of course the Mind Growth Technologies is my private practice. I'm a board certified hypnotherapist in the state of California where I help many people to overcome any challenges with the applications in the modality of a natural resource, organic resource called hypnosis.
Wow. So what made you pursue that career?
Well, short story is I was out of work. And every time I'm in transition, I always think academia. So I go back to school. So I found a college in Tarzana, California that taught something that I had always had an interest in ever since I was a small boy. I was always fascinated by the applications of hypnosis. I've seen it on TV. I saw it live. I thought, wow, that's pretty fascinating, but I never knew where to go learn how to do it. So I found a college that was accredited because I wanted to continue to work on my degrees. And I signed up and the rest is history.
Wow. And look where you are now. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So I know, so tell the listeners, how does things work? How do you hypnotize people? How did that work?
Yeah. Well, here's something, Caramel, that you're going to be excited about because you are actually a hypnotist.
How's that?
Because you run this podcast and you talk to people, and what you're doing is you're using words. And so people either tune in to what you're saying or they tune out. And I would think that most people are tuning in because you seem to be successful yourself in your own respect. And so basically it's done with words. And so how you put the sentence structure together is actually how hypnosis works. It's not done like you see on TV or in the movies with a watch. I don't get a hypno disc out. We don't. Those things are only seen in the movies and on television, and they sensationalize it with those type of things. This is not how it's done. Hypnosis is done with words and how you put that sentence structure together. So I'll tell you some other great hypnotists, President Obama, President Trump. I can go on and on with some of the major, not only political, but major figures in our society, Martin Luther King. I can go on and on, how they understood the power of words and they understood the power of suggestibility. Because you see, hypnosis is a very natural, organic resource. We go in and out of hypnosis about 1,000 times a day. That's how natural state it is. So let me give you some examples. So you ever find yourself driving up on the highway, freeway, and then you realize you missed your exit? It was 3 exits back. That's a common form of hypnosis. Other common forms, childbirth, yoga, karate, watching a good movie, reading a good book. Now, do you remember when the movie Titanic came out?
Yes, I love it. That's one of my favorite movies. How you know?
Well, I have insight to a lot of things. But it was also a lot of other people's favorite movie, and people would walk out of that movie theater in tears. They were horrified by this entire experience that they had with this movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was pure hypnosis. And so I had the opportunity and the privilege to speak with the director because I did an event for him. And I got into this conversation because he was fascinated about hypnosis as well, as most people are. It's a very fascinating, mysterious, intriguing thing to understand. But once you understand it, then you start to realize how natural of a state it is and how common it is. And you start to realize, wow, that's all it really is. And it's not what the movies and TVs put it out to be. So anyway, long story short, that movie actually hypnotized people. And what I mean by that, that movie was not a true word-by-word movie. That was based on actual true events, and they were sensationalized and dramatized in the movie industry to allow you to feel an emotion, to allow it to attack all of your senses, so therefore you became hypnotized when you left the movie, and you walk away with these amazing emotions and realizing how great that movie was. So that is another form of how hypnosis works. Watching a good movie, reading a good book, movies, childbirth, yoga, karate, all these forms are hypnosis.
So also, if you're a creative writer, that's hypnosis as well, right? Because you're drawing people into your writing, correct?
Absolutely. And so when you're a creative writer or an athlete, that's also forms of hypnosis, by the way. And what they call it, everyone has a different word for it. So athletes call it the zone. Runners call it a runner's high. Bodybuilders call it an endorphin rush. All of these things are getting into that trance-like state, that higher awareness, focused, concentrated state, and it's all hypnosis. They're just not calling it that. They're calling it something else, but it's really hypnosis.
Wow. You taught me something that I didn't even know.
Well, there you go. And I hope we're teaching the listening audience as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's the whole point of this, and this is why I take interviews like this to educate, uplift, and inspire people to understand how they receive information and how they give information. Because everything is suggestible. Everything around us, the clothing you wear, the jewelry you wear, nail polish, different color, it's all because you're suggestible to that type of commercialism and what it is that you're attracted to. And so it really gives you pause and meaning where you can stop and think for a moment and think, wow, why are these things going on in my life? Why do I have these limitations? Why do I have these successes? It really gives people a reflection in the mirror where they can just stop and realize, where do these things come from? Because you see, Caramel, we don't learn these things in traditional schooling. We're not taught these things and why these things happen. And so when we get into a situation, either positive or negative in our lives, we don't know why that happens. So the tool, the modality, the application of hypnosis helps everyone who allows it to happen to them, because it's already happening to you and you don't even realize that it's happening. So why not control what is happening to you instead of you being controlled by the environment or whatever your surroundings are?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Absolutely.
So I have a quick question. So I know that you say that you put people to sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so when they wake up, do they remember what happened, or they're just like totally forget about, like, they went to sleep or whatever? Because I, like you say, it's not what is on TV, but I always was wondering, do they can't remember when they went to sleep or what they was like. Do they remember anything at all?
Yeah. Some people do, some people don't. It all depends on one's personality. And again, how they receive the information, how they communicate information. Now, as a hypnotist, I don't actually put you to sleep. I don't put you into what is traditionally called, scientifically called a REM state. So that's your traditional sleep when we go to sleep at night or in the afternoon or whatever people's schedules are. Because I know there's a lot of people who work the third shift and they have to sleep during the day or in the afternoon. And so whenever your sleep pattern is, that's your natural sleep state, where you actually go into a REM state, you dream, And that's a natural sleep state. As a hypnotist, I don't put you into a natural sleep state. Matter of fact, I don't want you in a natural sleep state. Although your mind can be receptive and receive powerful information and suggestion, but it's not conducive to what the work that I do as a board certified hypnotherapist. I actually want you like what the athletes call the zone. And I want you in a trance-like state where you're actually in full control. See, when you're in hypnosis, you're actually more in control than you are in a normal state of mind. And what I mean by that, all of your faculties, your sense of touch, hearing, smell, become increased and amplified in a hypnotic state. So when you actually go into hypnosis, you're more in control than you are, and all of your audience who's listening right now, where you are right now. And so what our brain can't wrap around is what we see in my videos up on the YouTube channel or on my webpage, or what they see on TV. They see these people who are lethargic. They look like you're in a deep sleep, like some Disney princess queen.
Yeah.
But that's not the case whatsoever. They're just relaxed completely and totally, and they appear to be what you're seeing, but that's not what's actually happening. Now, some people, because you did talk about some people remember things, some people don't remember things. Again, it depends on the personality, so I want to address that question. Some people, they go so deeply into that higher awareness, focused, concentrated state of mind, just like an athlete, that they completely absorb themselves in the moment and the experience, and they don't remember anything. Yeah. And if you talk to a lot of athletes, and I'm talking, any athlete, but pro athletes, because I work with a lot of pro athletes as well, they're always talking about, I want to be in that zone. I want to be in that zone. And what they mean by that is, so if they're a basketball player, let's say they're a basketball player, and they're having troubles with their free throws, okay? And so behind the basket is what? The opposing team. So they're trying to distract them as much as they possibly can. So they want to be able to block out and not become aware of being where they're at, but only focus on that ball getting into the basket. So if that makes sense, that's kind of the metaphor I'm giving everyone, so you can understand what it is that I'm really talking about. But with the difference of personality of the ones who allow themselves to go into a deep hypnotic state and the ones who stay kind of on a surface. So I hope that explains that.
No, it does. It does. It's actually do, because now that it depends on, like you said, the personality of a person. Some go deep into sleep and some don't. It depends on how into that person is with it. Right? Absolutely,
positively. And again, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So, because in the beginning, I'll tell you this. And probably a lot of your listening audience feels the same way. People are very skeptical. And I come from a very traditional New England background where it's very conservative, and I was raised Catholic. I'm now a very devout Christian man, and I have a relationship with Christ. However, the issue is, I lost my train of thought there for a second. What were we talking about?
Come on, Kevin. You was talking about Yeah,
go ahead.
No. You was talking about the way people thinks.
The way they think?
The way people think, you a Christian man, and that you what was we talking about? You done got me lost the train of thought, Kevin. I was sitting here trying to remember what I was saying. Oh, people are very skeptical of doing this. Right. That's what we're talking about. Because I'm one of the people that are like that. You know what I mean? I am. I like having control of something, and it feels like if I do that, it's like I don't have control of myself. Right. And that's where I think people be like skeptical of doing it, because some people like having control, and when they feel like they don't have control, it's kind of hard for them to do it.
Exactly. And that's what I was getting to with my own personal journey with this, because I was a very big skeptic as well. I didn't understand it. And what one doesn't understand, we become skeptical about, we have a lot of reservation about. And that's all justified. But when you take it over the top and you're not allowed to be open to information, then that can be a problem. It can hurt you. So I was on that other side of the fence. Truly, I didn't understand it. So I thought, oh, this is all hocus pocus. It's fake. Of course, I was raised traditional Catholic, and so this was taboo. This was the black arts. This was the demons work and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And so when I found the college I taught it, I thought, oh, it has to have some credibility and some respect. So once I learned it and I understood it, of course, here I am 25 years later. I use the application every day, and I also help others to, use the application to help themselves. So the skeptics, are alive and well, and that's fine. But again, open yourself up to at least receiving the information from this interview, going to my website, learning more about it, because the more you learn, see, education is power. And the more you learn about something, then you can make your own choices about what it is and how you can use it. Because quite frankly, hypnosis isn't for everyone, because they just don't allow it to work. And you have to understand something. It's a natural, organic process. It's alive and well every single day. So why not understand it and harness the power of it and use it for you instead of it being used when you're not in control of it?
That is true. Absolutely. That is true. Kevin, I got to open my mind up just a little bit more because this is a great talk, because it like enlightens you on a lot of things that you wonder why, right. And you wonder, like, why am I doing this, or why am I so skeptical of doing this? It's because we're set that way. Correct. And why am I, and when like you said, like when a commercial come on, you get hypnotized on it and you want to go buy that same lipstick or that same whatever it is, so that's understandable.
Yeah,
I love it. So I know that you was doing comedy before as well, or you still do comedy. So what's the difference between the two, the comedy and the hypnosis?
They're both the same. That's what I do. I do comedy stage hypnosis, where the hypnosis isn't so serious. It's not part of my other business, which is the clinical and the clinician and the medical. Because I am on staff at two major well-known hospitals here in Los Angeles as well. And so that gets a little more serious, because that's the hypnotherapy. And so there's no comedy. I mean, it is fun. It is, as fun as it gets in a therapeutic situation, but it's not like the comedy stage hypnosis stuff where, we take people and they become, Elvis Presley or,
right.
We hypnotize them to do all kinds of fun things and funny things. But with my programs, I call it edutainment, where we're doing all of those things in that sense of comedy. But if people really pay attention to my program, they're actually learning something, not only about themselves, but about the applications, the power of what I keep talking about, which is hypnosis and the organic process of that.
Wow. And I know you've been on a lot of different shows, and you experienced so many different things. So, give me your experience. How do you like being on like different shows? Because you was on like so many of them. So, I mean, like, what was your experience with that?
Well, all great, positive experience. Because I've been in Los Angeles now for over 30 years. And so, and this is where I went to college too, to learn the hypnosis. And I became that guy. I didn't know where it was going to take me. Because I just had an interest in this, and I just thought, wow, this is fascinating to learn. I always wanted to learn it. But when my skills became very proficient, and then my success rate was hitting around 98%, which it still currently is to this day, that's when everyone started to recognize me. And this is where you become successful, when you're being recognized for your work and the applications and helping people. So when that happens to you, all of the credible TV shows, newscasts, and programs come calling, and they want to, just like what we're doing now, have an interview and have a discussion about why this stuff works, how they can learn more about it, and how they can use it for themselves. And so all of those experiences have been extremely powerful. It's really opened up a lot of doors for me and allowed me to meet some incredible, amazing people that I would, just like anyone else, sit on the couch watching TV and going, wow, I wonder what that person's like. I wonder what they would be like. And then finally getting to meet them and realizing that they're really good people, down to earth, and just like anybody else.
Wow. It's such a pleasure that you're on the phone with interviewing with me on my podcast, and I love it very much. That's why I was so super excited. So how is the pandemic with you? How's everything going on with you?
That's interestingly enough, the pandemic in my field, which is the medical field, is increased because people are under stress and anxiety from this COVID-19. And so my office phone has been ringing off of the hook with people wanting therapy and trying to manage and control their anxiety, stress, whatever else is going on with them during these really difficult and challenging times that we're all having. And so I'm providing the information and the tools and being as accessible as I can to help people to achieve their ultimate potential and not allow what is happening around us to affect them to the degree that it's been affecting everyone.
Right. And because it has, to me, it seems like it's getting worse. We was hoping that things are going to get better, but the numbers keeps going up. And I understand how people are they're getting stressed out. They're like, they don't know what to do, and this is crazy to me.
Yes.
Very crazy, very scary.
Well, yeah. And, I stay away from negative words like scary and I can't and all those kind of things, because that's how we're continuously programming ourselves. So let me tell you about how we end up really programming ourselves hypnotically and don't even realize it. So we have this little voice inside of our head. We all do, right? And sometimes that voice can get very negative. So let me give you some examples, almost kind of what just happened here, where, it can get very scary and kind of this. See, I don't have a tendency to think in those terms, because if I do, then I'm going to start believing that things are scary, things are terrifying, and when they're really not, because I'm really in control of what is happening for me around me. And so I have to be that beacon of light. I have to be that person, just like everyone else, to not allow these situations to overwhelm and overcome them in any way, shape, or form, because we're in control at all times. And if we really seek our higher power, which is Jesus Christ, then we are rest in him. We don't have any issues whatsoever, because we know that he is the all-powerful and in control of all things. Yes.
That is true.
So that's what I teach, and that's what I try to promote with people, because it's that simple understanding as to, again, where I'm at in life and why my success and where my success comes from is, again, because of this thinking and where I'm at. I just don't allow other things to control me, because I'm in full control. And again, Christ tells us this in Scripture as exactly where things are in life for us. And so that's where I rest my peace, and I have the fruit of the Spirit because of it. And so that's the ultimate higher power. But hypnosis is the tool to help us deal with that on a mental level, and praying is also a form of hypnosis, because you're allowing yourself to go into that prayer state where you're blocking everything else and you're having a conversation with God. And so that's hypnosis.
Right. Yeah, I didn't look at it that way, but you're right, because it's you have to train yourself to think positive, and train yourself to know that you are in control of you.
That's right.
And that is so true.
God gives us free will and free choice. And so therefore, that is the gift that we are given every single day, with the gift of breath and many other gifts that people take for granted. They don't think about these things. And however, so if you become aware of them, and you realize the gifts that God gives you, then you understand how to utilize them. And again, not just for you, Caramel. It's really in glory to God. You see? So this is why God gives us these gifts, and what we do with them daily is really our free will and our choice. And hopefully people make the choices to glorify Him with that. So this is what I teach people. This is what, the applications of hypnosis is a tool. It's a modality. It's not the all be all. It's not a magic pill. There's nothing is actually on this earth. And so this is just something, again, once it's understood and you become educated about it, that you're able to utilize it in your life to help you to get through the day to day.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Like, you a blessing, and I'm so glad that you went to school for it. And I'm so glad that you became who you are, because you are helping a lot of people and you are impact to the people. And that's very, very good.
I'm a steward.
And
that's again, what, I've prayed on. And I've felt that this is my role of how God wants me to represent Him, because I had basically retired and was giving up my entire career several years ago, and I went into ministry, and I went to school to become a pastor, and I thought that was my calling and my direction, and God basically closed those doors and reopened up my career again. And He's put me where I'm at the moment. And so this is where I'm at. Absolutely.
And that's awesome. Yeah.
Well,
I'm proud of you, Kevin. So listeners, please go on Kevin's website and learn a lot more about what's going on, because what he does is amazing. And so, Kevin, please give everybody your website or your social media if they want to find you, contact you, or however. It's going to be in your bio on the podcast, but just let everybody know now.
Okay. It was this gentleman was hypnotist.com.
Do you have any social media?
Go to Facebook, Hollywood Hypnotist Kevin Stone, Instagram, Hollywood Hypnotist Kevin Stone, Twitter, Celeb Hypnotist. All of that. We'll post all of that in the notes, won't we?
Yeah, of course. I just want everybody, when they be listening, they want to write it down, or it's like, I need to write it down so I can contact them or whatever. It's going to be in a link.
All the social media is great, and I know that's the trend, and everybody likes to do all of that. But I'll tell you what, if you go to the website, it's a pretty comprehensive site where it's not just about me. It's about when you go to, there's a tab on there called Resources, and it talks all about hypnosis, how to do it. There's all kinds of free information on there and on what it is, what it isn't. And it's a pretty, like I said, it's a pretty comprehensive website where, again, I'm trying to educate people from it. And so go there, hypnotist.com. You'll learn a lot of great things, not only about me, about my journey, about what has happened in the current what's happening in current times with me. But again, there's a lot of great stuff on there about hypnosis and how to do it. On all kinds of questions that people have. I've pretty much answered all those questions under the resources tab.
That's awesome. Well, Kevin, I'm going to say it was a pleasure talking to you. You are great. And definitely going to go on your website. I was looking at your website today. So I'm super excited about this. And I want you to take care. And don't forget about me.
But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for you and your listening audience. This is what I'm going to do for everybody today. I'm going to give everyone a gift. And this gift is going to be, because this is going to air when? When's it going to air? So if it airs, okay.
Today.
So starting today for the next 7 days. 7 days. And as you know, 7 is a magical number. God created the earth in 7 days. And so therefore I do everything in sevens. 7 days, anyone who emails me from my website or go to Kevin Stone at hypnotist.com, email me in the header that they listened to your program, and I will send them a free self-hypnosis CD on learning how to do hypnosis, and that is a $175 value. I will send that to them free in a MP3 download if they mention the show in the title of the header of the email. Everyone gets a free CD.
Ooh. You hear that, listener?
Yep.
A free CD.
Yeah, it'll be an MP3.
Now, everybody loves.
Yeah, it'll be an
everybody
MP3
loves the
download.
word
I'm
free.
going to send you the CD because it's easier to send the MP3 download. But it's the same thing if I send you the CD. It's $175 value, and I'm going to send everybody a free download of, if they mention this show, they listen to this show for the next 7 days. After 7 days, that free offer will close and all gifts expired.
Okay. Definitely. You hear that, listeners? 7 days. You have to mention this show that you heard this show. You'll get a free. Everybody loves free. Okay? So you definitely have to mention this show. But Kevin, this is going to be aired today. I'm gonna send you the link so you can send it out to people as well. And I just want you again to say thank you so much. And don't forget about Caramel. And I'm going to brag about you and brag about you. And just thank you so much. And I would definitely talk to you soon.
God bless everyone. Hope to hear from everyone soon. Talk to you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.